Hey performer, welcome to the Creatively Performing Arts podcast. Are you ready to get back to your creative passion for singing, acting, and dancing again? Hi, I'm Estelle, beginner voice coach, performer, and Christian creative, and I know how it feels to want to use your God-given gifts but to stay stuck in fear. The solution is to just get started. So, in this podcast, you'll find beginner singing and performing tips, inspiring interviews with artists, and help to push past your fear so you can finally start performing again. So pause your Broadway playlist and take a vocal rest because the show is starting and you're the star of it. Let's begin. Hey, welcome back to Creatively Performing Arts. How are you guys doing? I'm so excited. I'm recording this podcast live, doing an Instagram live right now, and getting to record this podcast at the same time. So that's exciting. That's fun. And today I'm digging into a fun topic, one that I feel like I talk about this topic without always talking about it. Like I'm always talking about this topic, which is how to really explore your creative talents with confidence. I'm always, this show is all about helping you get started, singing, acting, dancing, doing the things that you love in the performing arts, being more creative, living creatively, right? Through the performing arts, Creatively Performing Arts, CPA, the podcast. That's what this is. If you're here, if you're a listener, if you're in this community, you're so welcome. And thank you for being here. I love and appreciate it. And I love and appreciate you. And so I just want to spend a few minutes. This is going to be a really brief moment together, really talking about how do we explore our creative talents with confidence, because I hear so many people, and I myself know how it feels to want to feel more confident as a singer, as a performer, as in dance and acting and all these creative pursuits. But we want to feel confident from the very beginning, and that's just not always going to happen if you're just starting, or you're starting again, or you're, trying a new thing within the creative pursuit that you already, like maybe you're already a singer, you've been singing forever, but you're trying a new genre, or you're starting a new song and that feels scary, or you're working on a new project or something, or you're starting to write songs and not just perform, right? Like all these things can feel scary. But when we step back and we think about it in the context of I'm just exploring this, I'm being open to this, I feel like that can really help. And so how do we then do this? How do we then do this exploration of our gifts and of our creative talents in the performing arts with confidence? Well, you're not always going to feel confident, even though I've been singing my whole life, practically my whole life. I've performed so many times on stage in different places in different ways, and even put myself out there on social media and stuff like that. And I still don't always feel all that confident, or I still don't always feel like I know everything that I'm doing, and that's okay. I know what I do know, and I know a lot more about my voice. The more intentionally I've, been practicing, and the more I've been intentional about growing as a singer and all of that stuff. But, there is still, I still have moments where I'm just like, that wasn't so great. That happens all the time. And that's just a part of the journey, right? And so when you think of it as like, I'm just exploring these gifts and then I'm sharing them, and there's always room for growth, it feels less stressful and less pressured. So, three things actually, that I have written down for how we can explore our creative talents with confidence. The first thing we can do is just take stock. I guess these three things are called take, give, okay? So take, give. So the first thing is to take, and that is to take stock. Take stock of what your gifts are. What are the things that you're interested in? What are the things that you want to do? Do you want to start dancing? Do you want to start singing a certain type of genre? Maybe you've sung gospel music your whole life and you want to try another style. Maybe you've sung pop and musical theater, you want to get into more rock musical theater or something. It can be anything, right? What are the things that interest you? Just like start there. And then what opportunities are around you. So take stock of the things that you are interested in, very practically speaking, like, oh, I want to do this. And then take stock of what are the opportunities around me. Like, what are the things that how can I actually do this? Oh, I want to start singing live more. Okay, let me look up open mic nights near me. Let me look up, talent competitions near me. I used to do this all the time when I was younger. And I would find them. And it was fun, right? To just put myself out there. In like high school and college, I would do this a lot. So, yeah, just take stock of what are the opportunities in my city, in my town, in my community that where I can explore these things in like sometimes even like low cost ways or low pressure ways. Like, oh, I can sing in my church choir. Super simple way to start singing, right? It's free. It's low pressure. It can feel low pressure, that kind of a thing. So take stock. What are you interested in? And then what are the ways that you can start doing those things in small ways around you? Take stock. Okay. The second thing is another take, and that is to take action. Okay. So once you've like thought about, okay, what am I interested in? And what are some ways that I can actually do this? Like, oh, there is a dance studio right down the street from me. I didn't even realize. Okay, like I've Googled it, I've researched it. Now what? Okay, now take action. Take small steps of action. I talk about this all the time. I feel like I talk about this all the time. Let me know if you know that. If you listen to the show a lot, I do, because you have to take action. To take action. The confidence comes when you start doing things, right? When you first started walking, when you first started doing anything, but think of anything that you have done at the beginning that you now love to do and you find really easy. It wasn't always easy before. So taking action, taking small steps of action, the doing leads to the confidence, right? So, hi. So welcome to my live recording. I'm just recording my podcast episode for today. Hey. All right. So the doing leads to the confidence, right? The more you do something, you might not feel super confident, like you're not the best of the best tomorrow, but the comfort comes a little bit more when you start taking those steps of action, right? And so the second thing is to take action. So give. So take stock of what are the things that you're interested in trying. What are the things that what are the opportunities around you that you can be involved in to do those things that you're interested in trying creatively. And then the second thing is to take action. So do those things. Then the third thing is to give, right? To give freely, to have a mindset of sharing. When I think about when we were, I don't know if you remember when those like rubber band things that were really popular, where you would like braid them, like those rubber bands loom bracelets. Is that what they were called? There was like a loom and you would like create them and like craft them and stuff. Oh my gosh, people do that all the time. I feel like you can tell how old I am by that. But yes, if you were in like middle school, high school at that time, that was really popular. And I remember, and even elementary school, my younger sister was a loomer, and she oh my gosh, I hope she doesn't care that I'm saying this, but she would make them all the time, and she would just give them to people, right, as gifts and stuff. And it was something she was interested in doing, and then she would share it with people, and that made people want to ask her to make more. And it was just so fun for her. She loved doing it, and then she got to give it away. She got to give it to other people. That made her want to do it more. Like, people would literally be like, oh, you should do this as a business, like, and sell these and whatnot. But she just liked doing it for fun, right? And that, to me, is just an example of how you... Oh, no, guys. If you're hearing this on the podcast, my phone slipped out of the stand. We're back, though. If you're watching this back, hello. That was fun. But I think that's a good example of I'm sorry, that threw me off. I think that's a good example, though, of how when you are doing something that you're interested in, you can give it away for free. You can be generous in doing that, right? If you are starting to sing and you're singing in a choir, you're singing in maybe you audition for a show or something and you're singing, and just think about how you're giving joy to the audience that you're going to sing for, right? Like, that's just a great way. It's a great perspective. so that you're not feeling so much pressure of like, I have to be a star, I have to be like all these things all at once. If you're just trying something that you're interested in, know that you're being generous with that gift, and that's going to make it less pressure on you. You're just doing your best. You're being generous. You are giving that gift that you have, that you're now putting time and effort into and investing in. And that is the beauty of creativity, is that the more you give, the more it grows, right? The more you give that gift, you're going to get good feedback from other people. You're going to get helpful feedback from other people. Maybe that will challenge you to grow in one area or another. And it's going to help you be more creative and to do more and to, you know, grow even more as a singer, as an actor, as a performer when you get that feedback because you gave that gift. You know what I'm saying? I hope that makes sense. I love that. One of the most, I think I've said this before on the show, but the most listened to episode on the podcast, Creatively Performing Arts Podcast, is episode number 71, I think, or 70, one of the two. And it's called Is It Selfish to Be an Artist? And, what God has to say about, like, why the arts are important. It's kind of the topic. But the first part is it selfish to be an artist? Most listened to episode. And it's just so interesting that people genuinely wonder if it's selfish to be creative and to love the arts. And that's why I wanted to throw in that part about giving and being generous with your gifts, because it's not selfish to love the arts. And the arts are important and meaningful and make lives better, make our lives better, make all of our lives better, right? If we're being completely honest with ourselves. And so when we give of our gifts, when we give in the things that we're interested in creatively, and we are willing to be generous with those things, then yes, you love it and you enjoy it, but you love it and enjoy it even more because you're able to share it with others, I think. That's why I love theater so much. That's why I love acting and being in shows, is because it's not just me who's involved. I'm with other people, and I get to bond with other people, involve other people, and then we get to serve our audience by giving them a great show. And so, yeah, the arts are not selfish. It's not selfish to be an artist if you have the mindset of, I love this and I love sharing this with people. And I love using my God-given gifts to help, inspire, bless, encourage, impact, teach, share with other people. So I love that. Thank you so much for joining me on this brief little live podcast recording. I hope this inspired you. I hope this encouraged you. If you have any questions about, is it selfish to be an artist, and questions about like overcoming fear when it comes to actually doing these things, right? The take, give model, if you will. Take stock, take action, and then give of your gifts, right? Be generous. Give the gift that you have. Give from whatever you have and whatever you are learning as a creative, as a performer. That take, give model. If you have any questions about, okay, but I'm scared about this or about that, let me know. DM me on Instagram at Estelle Avberry or at Creatively Performing Arts, of course. Email me at estelleavberry@gmail.com, and I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much for listening to this show. Thank you for being here. And if you are watching this live or you're watching this replay, love you. Thanks for watching. If you're listening to this on the podcast, love you also. Thanks for listening. And don't forget to look, community is so important. If you are not in the performing arts community on Facebook, that is our community on Facebook. It's where we can bond with each other and get to know other artists. You can get to know other artists in your area. Right now, I'm in North Carolina, so of course the people in the group, most of them I would say tend to be in North Carolina, but you can bring other people in your city and join the group and mingle with other artists, and also just meet people virtually. And it's a great way to collaborate and to get inspiration. So go there. That's on Facebook. If you are listening on the podcast, the link is in the show notes. If you're watching on Instagram, it's all in the bio, link in bio. Also, don't forget to join the email list for weekly updates and inspiration for the podcast and the performing arts, voice lessons, really. And yeah, I'm just so excited that you're here. I'm grateful that you're here. And I hope that you start taking stock, taking action, and being generous with your gifts, Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and listening. Love you all. Keep creating, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Creatively Performing Arts podcast. I hope you feel encouraged, inspired, and truly impacted by today's episode. And if you can think of one person who would love this show, please share this episode with a friend. And if you wouldn't mind going to Apple Podcasts and leaving a review and rating, it will take 30 seconds and it would truly immensely help the show grow and reach more people who need to use their creative gifts as well. And finally, go to the Performing Arts community on Facebook and join this online free community for you to interact with and connect with other artists. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much, and I will talk to you later.